Everyone online is saying the exact same thing. Coastal Delaware home prices are falling. Full stop, end of story, run for the hills. I'm gonna stop you right here because that headline is only half true. Absolutely only half true. And if you believe the whole thing, one of two things happens. You either overpay for a house that is actually still holding its value, or you completely miss the best buying window Sussex County has handed us in absolute years. You know who this is. It's Debbie Ziskowski. Today I'm showing you exactly where coastal Delaware home prices are softening the most in 2026, where they're really not moving an inch and what that actually means for you. Whether you're buying, selling, watching, anticipating, whether you're in Pennsylvania, wondering if now is finally your moment. Let's get into it, okay? Absolutely, let's get into it. Where coastal Delaware home prices are softening most in 2026, okay? Full stop, here we go. I promise you, always upfront and honest. Is the market really cooling? Well, whether you're thinking about it, contemplating it, let's really start with the honest answer because that's my kind of whole thing around here. Truth, candor, upfront, no sugarcoating. I made Coastal Delaware my home back in 2015, and I've been helping you buyers, sellers through this exact market as a licensed realtor for nearly 5 years now. Through rate spikes, bidding wars, and now this shift. We are absolutely in a shift. Here's what my own move story looked like. I knew that I wanted to be here. I knew that this was gonna be my forever home. But what's really surprised me is that I fell in love with the lifestyle and then I kind of fell into the zip code. I hope that you're thinking about the same thing. Whatever you're feeling right now is different than what I felt 11 years ago. As I've told you, in the 5 years, I've seen the highs and the lows. I've seen multiple offers. I've seen no offers, but I think you deserve to hear the real numbers, not fear. So here's what the numbers actually say. They truly say this. Sussex County median sales price is approximately $443,000. Redfin has it a little higher. Delaware Association Realtors has it a little kind of tweaked, but I will tell you that the county data and the median sales price across Sussex County still sits around $443,000. That is down a little bit from last year, knocking on the door of about 5%, okay? But the Delaware Association Realtors has it actually looking a little different. Their numbers actually show Sussex County posting the highest median price of any Delaware county earlier this year. So that means that they've got it at about $485,000. Why the gap? Okay. Honestly, it's really quite simple. Redfin and the local MLS pull their numbers on slightly different timelines, and they weigh the mix of single family homes, condos, townhomes a little differently. They give different weight. So you add it all up, and what does it truly mean for you, the buyer and or the seller? It means that don't panic over a single percentage point. Look at the trend instead. That's the part that actually matters. And the trend is clear, absolutely clear. So I could show you a graphic, but you've got me instead. Days on market, absolutely up, but up to about 86 days from 72 last year. Months of supply, 4.5 versus last year's 3 months. So that means that homes are staying on the market longer. It's taking longer to sell them. Now, as a buyer, that means you've got more time to contemplate that, okay? 4.5 months is literally, 86 days plus. This is not a flooded market. It's not, we do not have too much inventory. We definitely have more inventory than we had a year ago, and certainly more inventory than we had 2 years ago. So yes, we have more inventory than we've had in quite some time, but we still don't have enough. A normal supply is about 7 to 8 months of inventory. And this is where it gets really, really, really interesting. And I call this the staircase effect. So if you could consider walking up a set of stairs or looking at a graphic that had stair steps. And what does this mean for you? It means that from beach towns on one side and inland communities on the other side, there's a thing that nobody really puts in the headline, is that the countywide average is just that. It's an average. It blends those beach homes. It blends those, starter homes in Millsboro. And I promise you, these two markets are not behaving the same way at all, okay? Town by town, Zillow Home Value Index in Bethany Beach is still $850,000, and that's up. Ocean View, etc., in the $500,000 range. That's down about 1%. So what does that mean for you? It means that Bethany Beach is ticking up. The beach towns are really ticking up a little bit. A little bit of the inland towns are ticking down a little bit. And again, that makes sense because all of the new construction and a lot of the new homes are further inland. They're in Millsboro, which is one of the fastest growing towns in the entire state. Absolutely the entire state, okay? And those home prices are up about 1%. Those homes are taking about 2.5 months to go pending, which is better than some of the other areas in Sussex County. So what does that visual look like? Well, picture a staircase. Again, you go up, you go down, okay? That means each step would be labeled. There's a Bethany step, there's a Rehoboth step, there's a Lewes step, there's an Ocean View step, a Millsboro step, and on and on. Some prices are stepping up, some prices are stepping down. As close to the sand as you're gonna get, those prices are still up and they're holding. The softening really depends on which step of the staircase you happen to be on or looking at, okay? So why would the walkable beach towns hold steady while other parts of the county cool off faster? Honestly, it comes down to just one word. And the one word I will use with almost every single buyer that I sit down with is scarcity. There is a scarcity of inventory at the beach. There's a scarcity of inventory in those really quaint little coastal towns on the east side of Route 1. There is not a scarcity of inventory west of Route 1. That is where we refer to the inland growth corridor. We've watched an absolute wave, as I talked about, of new construction. I personally counted north of 80 new communities across Sussex County in the last couple of years alone. So with that new construction, what have you got? You've got inventory, okay? So my local observation really is that as you're driving through the county, maybe a stretch of farmland that you remember is now a community with a clubhouse and a pool, okay? My own community, Forest Landing, was at one point meadows and trees. There were trees, okay? So the farmland is turning into amenity-filled neighborhoods with pools, clubhouses, golf courses, the whole deal. And that's fantastic news if you're a buyer, because it means real choices and real negotiating. Make sure you're represented. Grab that great realtor and make sure you're represented. So the inland communities are the ones feeling a bit more of that softening. There's just more competition, there's more inventory, and all of that is happening at the same time. So remember that staircase, because it's about to explain exactly where your best opportunity is hiding. But first I want to give you the number one aspect that ties this whole thing together. Okay, I'm going to try to put kind of a bow on it. And the bow is that every buyer and seller needs, what do they need? What do they need? They absolutely need to really think about that simple graphic. It's the months of supply that really meters what happens to the prices. The longer a home stays on the market, the more negotiating there is. And that's just common sense, everyone. So really, the big number is that we currently have 4.5 months of supply. A year ago, that was about 3 months, okay? So what NAR really regards a balanced market is 6 months or more. So we're still not a balanced market, but I still consider this more of a buyer's market in coastal Delaware than it was. So, and again, when you think about it, if we were at 3 months a year ago and we're now at 4.5, that is a 50% increase in where we were a year ago. Homes are just taking a bit longer to sell, okay? So here's what that single number hides. The supply is not spread evenly, not even close. The newer inland amenity communities, they're almost always sitting on more than 4.5 months. The quaint beach communities, Bethany, Fenwick, Rehoboth, Lewes, they're definitely under 2 months of supply. So really in plain English, what does that months of supply mean for you? It simply means how long it would take to sell every single home currently listed if no new homes came on the market. So this is really a moving, number. Climb from 3 months to 4.5 definitely has had a meaningful impact on pricing and on what we call price improvements. People are getting a little antsy. They are ticking down their homes a little bit to get more action on them. And on occasion, homes are just priced too, I would say, ambitiously. As a realtor, you always want to respect your sellers, respect what they truly believe their asking price should be. But I will tell you, if a home is priced well and really has all of what it should have, it is going to sell. But if a home is on the market for over 90 days, it absolutely is long overdue for a price improvement. We can't base our prices based on 2022 and 2023. For gosh sakes, it's 2026, okay? Buyers are not winning that negotiation when they think that we're still in 22 and 23 prices. So if you're a seller hearing this, please don't panic truly. This is not, I'm gonna be emphatic, this is not a crash. It means that we've got to price accurately from the onset, from the time we first hit that marketing push button, so that we're not eventually chasing the price down anyway, okay? Because it hurts your bottom line. The longer you're on the market, truly it does hurt that bottom line of what you're gonna put in your pocket. I really want you to hear that again. Price your home appropriately. Listen to that realtor at your elbow guiding you appropriately. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna see 6, 7, 8 months of supply anytime soon, but I think it's important to know that 4.5 months is certainly an increase from last year's 3 months. I always wanna give you the full picture of how we're trending across multiple months, not just one lab headline. Again, we are not crashing. I'll say it again. We are not crashing, okay? What this is maybe I would say a right sizing of pricing and a right sizing of our market. But here's where it gets really interesting, because everything I just walked you through, the staircase effect, the rising inventory, the shift in negotiating power, it all points to a handful of very specific towns and zip codes where the softening is concentrated the most. Again, it's inland. There are also all the coastal communities. They are not really in that exact same place. So I'm about to name these places by name. But before I do, if you are seriously considering coastal Delaware, whether that's next month or a next year or several years from now, I've put together a completely free coastal Delaware relocation guide packed with everything you need to know before making your move. It's linked right in the comments, so just hit that button, no cost, no obligation, please no pressure. Just great information that I put together for you, okay? Grab it. Okay, here's exactly where I'd be looking if I were you. If I was looking for, I don't wanna call it a great deal, but specific towns where we're seeing more of that softening, okay? Millsboro, Lewes, definitely, not in Rehoboth or Bethany, okay? So again, inland towns, not along the coast. When I think about coastal Delaware and Sussex County, which is really vast and beautiful and stunning, okay? I really want you to understand that there's a coast, and then there are the inland coastal towns that I have chosen to live in myself. But I think it's really, really important that the decision be your decision. And yes, price and affordability and all that matters to your financial bottom line has to be a factor with you. But if you think about Millsboro, Longneck, Selbyville, Milton, Georgetown, I would label those more of the softening areas in 2026 because it is definitely concentrated inland, meaning the newer amenity communities along Route 9, Route 113 corridor, places like Millsboro, again, all those areas that I just spoke to. That is where that softening is going on. Not the direct coast, the 26.2 miles from Lewes all the way to Fenwick to that Maryland border. So Inventory is genuinely competing against itself. If you've had your eye on a resort-style amenity community with a golf course, with a neighborhood, or a newer build with a clubhouse and a pool, this is genuinely your moment. You have real negotiating power. Sellers are motivated, builders are very motivated in these communities, and they're offering incentives that honestly did not exist 2 summers ago. So your buying power has gone up. Your buying power, again, I'm gonna say, it has gone up. As someone who has negotiated for some significant price drops, I've gotten closing cost covers, I've landed additional builders incentives in several of these communities. This is the perfect opportunity for you to lean into Debbie or another professional realtor. Remember, being represented with new construction is not a privilege, it's your right, and the builder truly takes care of the realtor compensation. So if you are looking for that Bethany home in the $850 or above, that is definitely holding. Rehoboth is holding, Lewes is holding. We would call those the resilient core areas of coastal Delaware. They are flat, or in certain cases like Bethany, they're actually up a little bit, okay? If your dream is walking out the front door onto the sand, don't expect a deep discount. That land simply isn't making any more of itself, and it never will. I think that's a line from a country song. Okay, but here's the nuance that so many people skip all the time. Softening prices do not mean that we're lowering the quality. It just means you're getting more long-term value. Okay? Sussex County, as I've said, one of the fastest growing counties on the East Coast. Census data literally calls out the fact that Sussex County remains one of the fastest growing counties on the entire East Coast. We've had net growth up, and it's largely driven by some retirees, some remote workers relocating from the Mid-Atlantic or New England, and these people are absolutely still coming. What's changed is that builders and sellers have finally caught up to that demand with more supply. There's definitely more supply here than there was. That means that we've got room for that negotiating, room for the buyer to really take a small pause and think about where, when, and why. Timing still matters. It absolutely still matters. Should you buy now or wait for the rates to drop? You know what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? Marry the home, date the rate. There is so much that I believe is at play here, and I do think at some point the rates will come down. Do I expect it's gonna happen by the end of 2026? Sadly, no, I really don't. I think that we are gonna be sitting in that mid-6s, unfortunately, through the end of 2026. Freddie Mac, primary mortgage, market survey, really believes that we are gonna just sit here through the end of 2026. I do not have a crystal ball or a Ouija board. I can't tell you about 2027, but I truly believe that, from my lips to the individual upstairs ears, I hope that there is some rate relief coming in 2027. So the honest truth, and I'll be straight with you as I always am, rates and prices tend to move like a seesaw. I believe if the rates come down, we may see the prices go up a little bit. Conversely, the prices are holding because the rates are really not dropping at all. But I'll say it again, marry the home, date the rate. And I do believe that prices are softening a little bit because of exactly what we've talked about. The rates are just not moving at all. I do believe that if the rates drop, that buyer demand is gonna come roaring back, and you may find that negotiating really gets uncomfortable fast. And I don't want that to happen to you. So waiting for the perfect rate could genuinely mean giving up the very leverage that makes right now such a smart window to buy, to browse, to chat with Debbie. My advice is almost the same with every buyer. Buy the home in the market conditions that favor you. And if the rates improve later, you refinance, okay? You cannot refinance a purchase price that you missed out on. You just can't. So if you miss this window to buy your home, for gosh sakes, refinancing won't matter. So lastly, the picture is truly amazing. If you are a retiree with a lot of equity in the property that you own currently, this could be an unbelievable market. Cash buyers have a lot of negotiating power. And I will say it again, You know all about the tax benefits. No sales tax, extraordinarily low property taxes, lowest in nearly the entire nation. Favorable incentives for retirees, no tax on Social Security. So, and more and more and more. And you know that I have all that available for you as well. So on a personal note, I'm going to say it again. Marry the home, date the rate. But yes, this is really shifting and becoming a buyer's market inland. On the coast, those prices are holding, if not rising a little bit. So you know how to find me. I live here, I play here, I work here, and I thrive here. So I'll say it again. The market is not crashing. Delaware home prices are not cratering. Yes, there is a little bit of softening going on, and I think I've identified where and why that's happening. Debbie, Live Love Beach today. It has been an absolute joy and pleasure to walk you through the non-crashing house prices in coastal Delaware.